Hi, everyone. Welcome to this session of Med Instead of Meds. If you have not joined us before for the first couple of sessions we talked through, I welcome you. Hope you will learn something that is very beneficial to you as you strive to get healthy and eat better. And we'll go ahead and get started. Now, if you have a question, since this is a recording and it's not a live Zoom, please don't hesitate to email me. My email address is ehowens@ncsu.edu, and I'll be glad to help find some information for you regarding your questions. If you are a member of our Facebook group, please make comments when you've watched some of these series and let me know if you've tried some of the recipes and how things are going for you. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see the PowerPoint slides. And I'm also going to take my picture off of the slides. There we go. So last time we had a session, we talked about changing our protein. So basically some of the things we talked about were eliminating highly processed meats. And remember, we showed that continuum as we got towards processed meats. They became things that we should not eat or consume as much. We talked about limiting beef, lamb, and pork to no more than 3 times per month. We also talked about eating fish or trying to eat fish in our diet 2 to 3 times per week. We talked about increasing our plant protein, so including beans and legumes in our meals. And we also talked about some tips for staying organized and planning our meals. So this session, this is our third PowerPoint, the second of the 7 sections of Med Instead of Meds. We're going to be talking about swapping our fats and also snacking on nuts and seeds. So the very first part of this, we're going to talk through just a quick review of what it means to eat the Med way. So we're going to eat lots of fruits and vegetables in the Med way. We're going to eat whole grains, eat beans and legumes, eating fish and seafood at least 2 to 3 times per week, nuts and seeds. We're going to eat those. We're going to replace solid fats such as butter with healthy fats, particularly olive oil. We're going to use herbs and spices to flavor our food, and we'll be able to reduce our salt consumption that way. And then finally, it's allowed to have, for women, 1 glass of red wine per day, or for men, 2 glasses per day if you choose. That's optional. The Medway also recognizes the importance of physical activity, enjoying our meals as we share them with friends and family, and finally, limiting added sugar, and those particularly from those sugar-sweetened beverages, baked goods, and other processed foods that we may consume. So what sets the Medway apart from other eating patterns? First of all, the Medway is simple. The recipes are easy to follow. It's delicious. The foods actually taste very good. I hope you've had a chance to try some of them. They use healthy fats, spices, herbs, and aromatics to make the food delicious and craveable. And the Medway uses foods that promote us being full or satisfied. How can you eat the Medway? As I said, we're on section 2 of swapping our fats tonight. We talked about changing your protein last time. And the other ones are eat more vegetables, eat more fruit, snack on nuts and seeds, make your grains whole, and rethink your sweets. So those are the 7 steps to eating the Medway. So talking about swapping our fats tonight. Choose olive oil. You see a bottle of olive oil there. So that's going to replace solid fats such as butter, margarine, and other oils with olive oil. We want to replace those things with olive oil. Use olive oil for cooking, in dressings, and in marinades. And aim to consume at least 4 tablespoons per day, while of course keeping within your calorie budget. How many remember this? From the 70s, probably through the 90s, you saw everything said fat-free on it. It was all the rage. Well, they range from items such as fat-free soups and snacks to fat-free desserts and half that we use to put in our coffee. At the time, it was believed that people were eating healthy when they chose fat-free or low-fat products in place of their full-fat counterparts. However, that's not really the case. Fat was removed from food and they replaced that fat with refined carbohydrates. As such, people were replacing olive oil-based dressing with fat-free ranch dressing, which was high in sugar and starch, because they had to replace it with something that was going to bring that flavor back to it. Or they may have been replacing nuts and seeds with pretzels that may have been made of white sugar and salt. So we were replacing those things that they took out with something. So in an attempt to remove the fat from our diet, whether it was healthy or not, we really just replaced fat with refined carbohydrates. And we all know that that is not a healthy thing. What we do know for sure, so replacing saturated fat with refined carbohydrates does not decrease the risk of chronic disease. We know that for a fact. Also, replacing saturated fat with poly or mono unsaturated fat has positive health benefits. Saturated fats generally found in animal-based products like meat and dairy products, while unsaturated fat is generally found in plant-based products. So today we're going to talk a lot about strategies for replacing saturated fat with unsaturated fat. Something else we know is that the consumption of a low-fat diet is not associated with a decreased risk of chronic disease, nor is it associated with lower weight. During the fat-free craze, we thought that eating low or non-fat foods that we just talked about would help us decrease our risk of chronic disease and lower our body weight, but this simply was not the case. And finally, we know that there is no safe level of trans fat. Trans fat, particularly hydrogenated oils, are now required to be listed on the nutrition facts label. And a simple note here, if trans fat content is under 0.5 grams, food manufacturers can list 0 grams of trans fat on the label. Be sure you're avoiding all trans fat. Check to make sure that partially hydrogenated oils are not included in your list of ingredients. Very important. Look and make sure that you do not want partially hydrogenated oils to be something that you consume. This is a fat choice continuum, much like the one we talked about in the protein continuum. It can help take the confusion out of this important midway step. So first of all, unsaturated fat, generally found in plants and seafood, and it's shown to have health promoting properties. Okay, so the things on the left of this continuum are beneficial to us, and as we move to the right, there are things that are harmful to us. So saturated fat, generally found in animal products such as meat, butter, cheese, and milk, it has not been shown to have health promoting properties. And then finally, trans fat, fat that can be found in processed food, fried food, baked goods, and convenience and freezer food. It is shown to be harmful to our health. Okay. Here is a comparison of some of the different oils that are available on the market. So it illustrates the fat composition of different cooking oils, and it tells you how much of each of the fats, mono, unsaturated, polyunsaturated, and saturated fat each oil contains. So olive oil from the chart, you can see why olive oil is being held up as the primary oil to consume within the medway of eating. It's very high in unsaturated fat and low in saturated fat. Moreover, olive oil is more affordable and easier to cook with than other oils with similar composition. For example, hazelnut oil. It's a versatile oil and you can use it to cook or dress your food. And the second oil we're going to talk about is canola oil. This is another oil that stands out as an affordable and versatile option that is high in unsaturated fat and low in saturated fat. Canola oil also has a neutral flavor. You may not find olive oil to have such a neutral flavor, but canola oil does that. So other oils can be used in cooking, but the composition of olive oil and canola oil, along with their affordability and versatility, make them the recommended go-to oils for eating the Med way. Nearly 9 out of 10 people are worried about consuming fat just as much or more than they were 5 years ago. Despite evidence supporting the benefits of unsaturated fat, many people continue to worry about the general consumption of fat. Before we go into more detail about how to get more olive oil or canola oil into your diet, let's first talk about 3 common misconceptions or urban myths that might be impacting how you think about olive oil and canola oil. Here we go. Common urban myths. Don't cook with olive oil. Most olive oil is fake. Canola oil is deadly. We're going to break down and debunk these common misconceptions. Moreover, we will explore some tools that you can use to verify or debunk other claims that you might come across on the internet or elsewhere. So, is there a danger with heating olive oil? Claims state that there is a danger in cooking with olive oil, that heating olive oil turns it into cancerous components, and that you lose all the benefits of olive oil when you heat it. Specific claims include monounsaturated fats are not heat stable, heart-healthy components in olive oil are damaged by heat, heat destroys omega-3 fatty acids, and olive oil has a low smoke point, making it no good for cooking. All of these things are untrue or misleading. So let's talk about why. All oils oxidize or break down when you heat them. It does not matter what they're made from. In fact, monounsaturated fats like olive oil are more heat stable than some polyunsaturated oils that are commonly used for cooking, such as vegetable oil or corn oil. As such, it's misleading to think about olive oil, especially, or to single out olive oil, especially when it is more heat stable than some of the oils that we actually use for cooking. Secondly, olive oil does not contain a lot of omega-3 fatty acids. Most of the fatty acids in olive oil are omega-9. As such, focusing on the impact of heat on omega-3 fatty acids in olive oil is very misleading. The claim that olive oil has a low smoking point, for example, the temperature at which the oil begins to smoke and rapidly break down, is patently untrue. Olive oil's smoking point is 392 degrees. To provide context, let's compare that to the temperature required to deep fry food. 350 degrees to 375 degrees, as that is a very high heat cooking technique. So you can see olive oil can get very hot before it hits its smoking point. With all this being said, we don't want to overheat any oil, olive or otherwise. However, to claim that it is dangerous to heat olive oil is simply untrue. Okay. What does scienceornot.net say? This is a resource that can help you determine whether claims you come across are true. It's a great place to learn more details about olive oil claims that we're looking at today, as well as many other topics of interest. So you might want to take a look at that. Scienceornot.net. The second claim was that most olive oil is fake. So is most olive oil fake? This is certainly untrue. The urban myth arose from tests carried out on olive oils between 2008 and 2010. The test showed that many store-brand olive oils on the market were being labeled extra virgin, even though they did not meet the extra virgin labeling requirements. The test never stated that the olive oil was fake or not made from olives, but rather that the tested samples did not always meet the stringent extra virgin standards for taste, aroma, and color, and that the flavor profiles of some of the olive oils were likely overstated. The study did not find concern related to purity, adulteration, safety, or substitution of the tested olive oils. Moreover, more recent tests on olive oil have found that labeling has become more accurate and that manufacturers have been more stringent about what they label as extra virgin olive oil. What does Snopes.com say? I'm sure you guys have seen this. The third claim was that canola oil is deadly. So this is patently untrue. The urban myth arose from the fact that the seed that canola oil is made from is also used in an industrial lubricant. However, there are lots of industrial lubricants that have a counterpart in the food system, though the two don't have a lot to do with one another. If you want more information on why this claim is false, again, check out Snopes.com, or the other site that they mentioned here is BerkeleyWellness.com, which also has some good information. Finally, look at these myth debunking tools. There are 2 additional resources that can help you determine whether claims you come across are true. They're also great places to learn about details about olive oil claims that we're looking at today. So keep that in your bookmarks on your computer, Snopes.com and BerkeleyWellness.com. So now that we have debunked all 3 of these myths, we know that we can absolutely cook with olive oil, that most olive oil is not fake, and that canola oil is absolutely not deadly, and it is safe to use. So all those things were not true. Now, this is a med tip. We talked about we'll have some med tips throughout this curriculum. This med tip for today says 4 tablespoons of olive oil per day. And these are some different ways that they show that you can get that olive oil. So you might eat olive oil toast, which contains 2 teaspoons of olive oil. There is a recipe for that on our Med Instead of Meds website. You might make your salad dressing. Salad with vinaigrette has 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil in it. You might have roasted vegetables, maybe for dinner or lunch, and that has 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil in it. And then for dinner, perhaps you're going to saute chicken breast in olive oil, and that uses 1 teaspoon. So that's a total of between 3 to 5 tablespoons of olive oil that you can include in your diet for the day. Okay, this is a Med Flip, also a good tool that we have in our websites. This Med Flip says cook with olive oil or with oil instead of solid fat, drizzle or dress dishes and salads with healthy oils, and replace solid fat with healthy oils as a spread or in a recipe. Let's take a few minutes to talk about each one of these. More med tips. Whatever the cooking technique, try to take all the fats you use and swap them out with healthy oils, such as olive oil, canola, or other unsaturated oils. So Med Flips, cooking techniques, and Medway recipe examples. Saute your food in olive oil rather than butter or other saturated fat. There's a recipe called Super Tomato Soup that you see here. You saute onions and carrots in olive oil rather than in butter. It is delicious. I have tried that recipe. It's very delicious. Roast vegetables and other foods with olive oil. So you see here the spicy roasted cauliflower recipe is an example of roasting vegetables in olive oil. There's a med tip. Roast vegetables below the 392 degree smoking point of olive oil. So between 375 and 392 degrees. It's okay to do that. You might sear seafood, chicken, etc. in olive oil rather than butter or other saturated fats, and bake using recipes or follow recipe substitutions that call for healthy oils rather than butter or saturated fats. Another med tip, dress salads with olive oil based dressings. Drizzle hummus or other dips with olive oil. And they give 2 of the recipes from Med Instead of Meds here. The first one, summer green bean salad. It has a wonderful sherry vinaigrette dressing that's great on this or other salads. And then the white bean hummus, you can drizzle olive oil over the hummus to give it a little bit of extra flavor. I think you can see that in that picture. Both of those recipes are really, really good. All the recipes in Med instead of Meds are good. Who am I kidding? All right. A life hack, a life hack saying goodbye to bottled dressings. No more store-bought bottled salad dressings. Instead, let's look at this Go Med life hack. Make med-friendly dressings that you can keep in your refrigerator. Very simple to do. I do this at home. Making your own dressing is delicious and easy. It's lower in cost and healthier than store-bought dressings. And since you control the ingredients, you can make dressings based on your favorite or your family's favorite ingredients. So salad dressing 101. Here we go. We're going to start with a jar with a screw top lid. We're going to add an acid. The acid here is lemon. We are going to add an oil, which we chose olive oil in this example. And then we're going to add some seasoning. And here you see salt and pepper. And then you're going to store this in your refrigerator for a few weeks. And when serving it again, you're going to take it out of the refrigerator a few minutes before serving to allow the dressing to re-liquefy because it may gel up just a little bit in the refrigerator. Absolutely yummy. So that's one example. You see at the top of the screen, citrus salad dressing, which I believe is the one that we just made. And then you see balsamic Dijon vinaigrette at the top right. That's also a really yummy dressing. And you can see some more dressing recipes on the Med Instead of Med website, including Caesar, Sherry Dijon, chili lime, and cumin vinaigrette. There's lots of them on there. Really tasty ways to put together the acids, the oils, and the seasonings and make some really great dressings. All right, another Med flip. So in these recipes, you see sauteed squash and onions. They replace the bacon fat with olive oil. In the olive oil toast, they replace the butter with olive oil. And in the Mediterranean tuna salad, mayonnaise has been replaced with olive oil. I know some of you are probably thinking, tuna salad with no mayonnaise? Yeah, I've eaten it. I've made it at home. It's really tasty. A good way to get rid of some of that extra fat that we might consume, or that extra thing that's bad for us. So let's go to the next slide. Let's talk a little bit about olive oil. How to buy olive oil. So you're going to choose an extra virgin olive oil. And why do we choose that? Because it's a regulated designation as the highest quality olive oil. You see this slideshow here shows two types of olive oil, pure 100% olive oil on the left and extra virgin olive oil on the right. Both are healthy olive oil choices, but the extra virgin olive oil is a higher quality and tends to have more robust flavors. Some people opt to use pure olive oil for cooking and extra virgin olive oil for dressing and drizzling. However, extra virgin olive oil is well suited for all of these tasks. If you're going to have one olive oil in your home, make it extra virgin olive oil. Yeah, and I didn't go to the slide fast enough. So here's the one we were just mentioning. This is the pure 100% olive oil on the left, and on the right is the extra virgin olive oil like we just talked about. So choose extra virgin if you can only choose one. Okay? You're going to look at the best by date. Look for best by date. And why are we doing that? We want to make sure we're ensuring quality. The best by date relates to when the olive oil should be opened by. Once olive oil is opened, then you introduce air to the oil, which impacts its shelf life. When you open the olive oil containers, it's recommended that you use it within 30 to 60 days. And something I do at home is I write with a Sharpie when it was open, so I know when it's time to go ahead and get rid of that, which olive oil doesn't usually have to be thrown away at my house. It's something I like to use a lot. Okay, another med tip. Buy olive oil in appropriate size containers so that you use it within 30 to 60 days. We just mentioned that. Find an olive oil bottle that fits your needs and cooking style and keep it near your prep area. That means basically you don't want to get a huge bottle of olive oil if you're going to have some left over that needs to be thrown away. So get what's right for you. Near your prep area, just make sure you have it there available for you to use when you need to, and store it away from heat and light. One of the things you may hear people say is that olive oil is so expensive, but it doesn't have to be. You can get good quality olive oil for reasonable prices. Olive oil does not have to break your food budget. Use the 3 tenets of buying olive oil that we discussed here today: dark bottle or can, extra virgin, and sell by date, and let that guide your olive oil purchases in a way that works for your food budget. You can purchase quality olive oil using these 3 tenets as your guide at grocery stores, discount home goods stores, online, or other places where you might do your shopping. Further decoding olive oil labels. Product of Spain, made in Spain versus 100% Spanish. Product of Spain or made in Spain or any other country labels mean that the olive oil is made and bottled in that country. However, the olives used to make that product may be from a different country or different countries. 100% Spanish or another nationality labels mean that the olives in that product are all from the specified country. The bottom line, any of these products would be great choices as long as they meet the 3 tenets of buying olive oil that we discussed here today. And that was dark bottle or can, extra virgin, and the sell by date. Okay? All right. Simple step 5, snack on nuts and seeds. Choose at least 5 ounces or 3 small handfuls of nuts and seeds per week while keeping in your calorie budget. Avoid candied, honey roasted, and heavily salted nuts and seeds. Which nuts and seeds should you choose? This slide illustrates health benefit highlights of different nuts and seeds. So you see here the only nut significantly high in omega-3, and that's walnuts according to this picture. And it talks about the power of pistachios. And America's superfood, peanuts. There's 3 different types of nuts and seeds. So first of all, choose a variety. Pick your favorites. They all have health benefits. The takeaway is switching your snack choices from refined carbohydrate products to nuts and seeds is delicious, satisfying, and beneficial to your health. Very important. Aim for 3 ounces of nuts and seeds per week. It's important to be able to recognize that an ounce of nuts and seeds looks like, recognize what an ounce of nuts and seeds looks like, especially since they can come in a variety of packaging and amounts. Nuts are high in calories, so it's important to be mindful of staying within your calorie budget. Different ways to estimate an ounce of nuts or seeds. Here are some good things that you can look for. So a baby food jar, a 1/4 cup measure, a 3-inch by 3-inch sticky note, a handful, a smartphone, so something that covers a smartphone. You spread them out on the surface of the smartphone, a shot glass. The exact number of nuts and seeds in an ounce varies based on the specific nut or seed. For almonds, you can use the 1-2-3 rule. 1 ounce of almonds is 23 almonds. There's a med tip. So most grocery stores have pre-packaged bags of nuts and seeds that are 1 serving, an ounce or 100 calories. You can also make your own serving size packs of nuts and seeds, which will save you time and money and allow you to pick your favorites. Okay, another med tip, add nuts and seeds to the foods that you already eat. This is a great way to add nuts and seeds to your diet. Let's talk about some med flips. Oatmeal with fruit and nuts recipe. So you're adding nuts and seeds to oatmeal, which is a great way to boost protein and high quality fat. It will keep you fuller longer also. Whole wheat couscous salad. The nuts in this recipe add flavor and complexity to a delicious grain salad. Almond mushroom burger recipe. That's a scrumptious vegetarian burger that would easily become your new family favorite. It could become your family's new family favorite. And strawberry quinoa salad. That's got greens, fruit, nuts, and grains combined for a really, really, really delicious salad. And here are pictures of those recipes we just talked about. So oatmeal with fruits and nuts, whole wheat couscous salad, almond mushroom burgers, and strawberry quinoa salad. Add nuts and seeds to the foods that you already eat. Top fruit with nuts and seeds. Here you see a cucumber salad with peanuts. I've made this several times. I tried it at the training when I went through the training for Med Instead of Meds. It's really delicious. This tasty dish combines Indian flavors with fruits, vegetables, and Spanish peanuts. You really don't need a recipe. Just top your favorite fruit and nuts or seeds. And a great combination to try is cut up oranges topped with pistachio and a little bit of cinnamon. That sounds yummy. A GoMed life hack. Exchange cereal bars and protein bars for nuts, seeds, or nut butter. This med flip will help you replace refined carbohydrates and added sugars found in cereal and protein bars with high quality protein and fats. You see some pictures of those things. There's a cereal bar, a protein bar. Instead of this protein bar, using nuts and seeds. If you've ever looked at some of these things on the market, they're sometimes pretty high in calories, and we want to prevent doing that. So swapping your cereal bars for nuts and seeds and using nut butter. Nuts and seeds are perfect for eating on the go because they're shelf stable, they're portable, and they are whole food. Nut butter, another great way to eat nuts and seeds. I jumped ahead of myself there. So nut butters, so when you're purchasing nut butters, read the label. Look for a product with minimal ingredients and look for a product with minimal added sugars. Comparing labels in this slide, the nut butter on the left contains peanuts and just a little bit of salt. This product has 1 gram of sugar per every 2 tablespoons serving, all of which is naturally occurring from the peanuts. The nut butter on the right contains peanuts, sugar, palm oil, a little bit of salt, and molasses. The product has 3 grams of sugar per every 2 tablespoons serving. Since 1 gram of sugar is naturally occurring from the peanuts, we know this product has 2 grams of added sugar per serving. So added sugar should be limited to no more than 25 to 36 grams or 6 to 9 teaspoons a day. As both of these products have minimal ingredients and minimal added sugar, either could be a good choice based on your preferences and how they fit into your overall eating pattern. To stir or not to stir? To stir, you can buy nut butters that are just nuts and maybe a little bit of salt, such as the product featured on the left. As these products do not contain an emulsifier, such as palm oil and or added sugar to keep the components of the butter combined, you'll need to stir them before each use to mix in any oil that has naturally separated. Or not to stir. So if you're buying nut butter with an emulsifier, such as added palm oil and or added sugar, look for a product with minimal added sugars, such as the product on the right-hand side of the slide. Okay? Mindful eating in the Medway. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. Mindful eating. Eating mindfully means eating with awareness of what's on your plate, also of your entire eating experience. Mindful eating is being present in the moment, excuse me, and enjoying every aspect of the meal you are eating. Mindful eating and right sizing your portions. So let's talk about that for a second. A portion is what you serve yourself or what a restaurant gives you. You can also think of this as a helping. The reality is that a portion is sometimes larger than it should be. So mindful eating involves being aware of the portion sizes you're eating throughout the day. Right sizing your portion will help you include healthy fats, nuts, and seeds in your diet, as well as other Medway foods in a manner that fits into your overall eating pattern. Really, really, really important. Portions that are offered are often more than we need. We just talked about that. Portion sizes have increased over the past 20 years and continue to get larger. Eating larger portions at one meal would not be such a problem if we ate less at the next meal or over time. This does not typically happen, however. Research shows that we don't compensate for large portions consumed at one meal by eating less at the next meal. Larger portion sizes mean eating more calories than we need over time. The large portions we are continually served are causing portion distortion. We have been served large portions for so long that we've come to expect that, and that's what we want to be served. It makes it difficult for us to assess what a normal portion is and the amount that we should be eating. It's also affecting the amount we eat when we eat at home. What is a normal portion? And with all of us being influenced by portion distortion, we need to reset our internal cues as to what a normal portion is. Luckily, our hands can help us estimate several different serving sizes. A small handful of nuts or seeds is about 1 ounce. 3 ounces of cooked meat is about the size of the palm of your hand or a deck of playing cards. Now look at the difference between a 3-ounce piece of chicken and a chicken breast that you may buy at the grocery store or be served at a restaurant. In fact, it may be difficult to find chicken breasts that are 3 to 4 ounces. You may need to cut chicken breasts into pieces to get an appropriate serving size. There's also a big difference between 3 ounces of hamburger and what we might consider to be a regular hamburger. I know that's true. When I buy chicken in the grocery store, those chicken breasts that you buy now are huge. So definitely they need to be cut most of the time. And the hamburgers are much larger than they should be. An ounce of cheese is about the size of your thumb or 2 dice. Your fist is about the size of 1 cup. So if a serving size is 1 cup, your fist is about the size of that. A bowl of cereal may be a lot more than 1 serving. So if you look at the 2 bowls here, you see a 1 cup or 1 serving, and then next to it in the bowl, that's actually 3 cups. So if you're using the bowl as a serving size measure, that's not necessarily a good thing. A bowl of pasta may be a lot more than 1 cup. Absolutely. There's a lot of pasta in the bowl to the right. 3 cups versus the 1 cup serving size. So in order to make sure that we're getting the right size portions, measure your portions. Cooking and eating at home is a good way to control what you eat and can help you eat the Medway. So when talking about measuring your portions, this is the best way to get a handle on portion sizes, to measure each thing you eat. You don't have to do this forever. Just do it for a few days or for a week, which will help you reset your internal cues as to what a serving should look like on your plate or in your bowl. Now, for me, that's extremely important because I count my carbs in order to use my insulin pump to carb for what I eat. So extremely important to measure your serving sizes. Okay, when you eat at home, you are in control. Absolutely. Serve reasonable portions on individual plates instead of putting the serving dishes on the table and letting everybody get as much as they want. Go ahead and serve them on those individual plates. Again, when you're at home, you're in control. A tip, portion out snacks, put a reasonable amount of food into a bowl or container and leave the rest of the package in the pantry. Package snacks in small bags for portion-controlled snacking. Excuse me. Okay. When you eat at home, again, you're in control. Use smaller plates, bowls, and glasses. Like our portions, dinner plates have gotten larger over time. Some dinner plates are 2 to 3 inches larger than in the past. Using smaller plates will help you control your portion sizes. This is something really important to consider. How many calories do I need? All right, so this is a list of calories that you should consume. And let's look at that. The amount of food you eat is an essential part of building a healthy eating style. How much you eat and drink can impact your weight and overall health, including your risk for chronic disease. So we know that calories are a measurement, just like inches or cups. Calories measure the energy of food or the energy a food or a beverage provides. Calories give you the fuel or energy you need to work and play, even to rest and sleep. So when choosing what to eat and drink, it's important to get the right mix, enough nutrients without too many calories. The amount of calories you need depends on your gender, size, and activity level. The table estimates the number of calories that you need each day to maintain your weight. It's only an estimate. You can also use the nutrition facts label or nutrition information on menus to better understand how many calories are in a food or beverage. These labels include calories and other useful information to help choose the right amount of calories for you. So I'm going to start at the top of this just to go through this. So on the left is the gender. So the first row is a female between the ages of 19 and 30. If that person is sedentary, meaning they sit most of the time, most of the day, don't get a lot of activity, 1,800 to 2,000 calories. If they are moderately active, doing some activity throughout the day, then 2,000 to 2,200 calories. And if they're really active, 2,400. So the max consumption should be about 2,400 calories. Eating the Medway. Swap your fats. Swap your fats with Medway videos and recipes. Today, we'll explore some Medway recipes from the medinsteadofmeds.com site that will help you swap your fats. I mentioned this earlier. This is olive oil toast. Very yummy. It might take some getting used to, but it's tasty. Mediterranean tuna salad. This next recipe is cucumber olive oil sea salt yogurt. I've had that. It's a strange combination, but it's extremely delicious. Very good. Let's see what we have next. Citrus salad dressing. We talked about that earlier. Very easy to make and very less expensive than buying salad dressing at the grocery store. Brown rice salad. That looks yummy. Spicy roasted cauliflower. That looks good too. I think I'm going to make that for dinner this week. Cabbage, pasta, and pepper. That looks good as well. So eating the Medway, snack on nuts and seeds. Snack on nuts and seeds, again, with Medway videos. And let's explore some Medway recipes where you can add, or you can snack on nuts and seeds. So this one, oatmeal with fruit and nuts. That was mentioned earlier in our presentation. Rosemary chili almonds. These have a fantastic flavor, pretty easy to make. Again, rosemary chili walnuts, just like the almonds. Cucumber salad with peanuts. Extremely delicious. Quinoa strawberry salad. Whole wheat couscous salad. Simple stir fry with nuts. Mushroom almond burger. And that's it. So some really good choices of things you can try based on what we've learned in our PowerPoint this week. And as I mentioned earlier, I hope you will give a try to some of those recipes and give a shout out on our Facebook page or to me at my email if you have a chance to do that. Also, any questions you might have after watching this, please email them to me or share them on our Facebook group page. Thank you very much for coming and watching our class tonight, and remind you, thank you very much for attending this class tonight. And our next scheduled session is set for next Tuesday. Thank you very much for attending.